Hello and welcome. Daffy Roth here, and this is The Legend of Mana for the PS1. And we're going to go ahead and just go over the manual here, and then we're going to be getting into gameplay in the next episode, which should be releasing shortly after this. So, alright. First up, we just have the cover here. Not much different than the actual title screen itself, but this is your typical SquareSoft artwork and whatnot, especially when it comes to the Mana series. It's usually pretty consistent throughout every single game. So next up, we just have our warning, or our typical warnings. How to handle your disc and whatnot. All right, next up we have our contents and prologue. So our table of contents here, and then it says link marks shown on related pages. If information in a section of this manual is related to other information listed on other pages, the link icon shown below will appear next to the heading on the page. The little leaf, page 16 example, when the link mark to the left is shown, refer to battle system heading on page 16. World Encyclopedia number 1. From the beginning, a twinkling consciousness became a star that sparked in the night and banished the darkness. The Mana goddess acquired consciousness by gazing into the light of that sun. She made Fadale a great land, but so far an empty one. World Encyclopedia number 18, the Mana Tree. The Mana Tree sustained the bond between the world of humans and of fairies. Plants existed in both the human and fairy dimensions. They absorbed the mana of Fadale and released it into the atmosphere. Humans use trees for fuel and tools, harnessing their power with inanimate objects. Fairies use mana released by the plant to make Fadale a better place. All right, World Encyclopedia number 32, from Artificers. There were two types of magical beings. One type was imbued with life, another type had hidden powers. The latter were called artifacts. Artifacts had weaker magical powers than Eyes of Flame, but were a simpler construct. Creating Eyes of Flame were fraught with accidents, so making artifacts became the most popular kind of magic. Interesting. Okay. Getting started. Set up your PlayStation game console according to the instructions in this instruction manual. Make sure the power is turned off before inserting or removing a compact disc. Insert the Legend of Mana disc and close the disc cover. If continuing a previously saved game, insert a memory card with Legend of Mana save data. When the power is turned on, the opening demo will begin. The Start button or X button can be pressed during the demo to advance to the title screen. After the opening demo is completed, the screen will switch to the title screen, select New Game or Load Game, and pressing the directional button up or down, then press this X button to execute the selection. See, it came out roughly at the same time as Vagrant Story, so it boggles my mind why Vagrant Story's control scheme is so ass backwards. So, there's a PlayStation 1. We're playing on an emulator, so that's really necessary to worry about all that. Alright, starting a new game. If playing the game for the first time, select new game. Select the main character's gender. Select whether the main character will be male or female by pressing the directional button left or right. Pressing the X button after selecting will execute the command. The events in the game and story are not affected by the main character's gender. Press the circle button to return to the title screen. Is there a male or female character? The female character looks a lot like the Amazon from, I guess it did 2-3 or the Trials of Mana. These are my opinion. Alright, select the main character's initial equipment. After the main character has been selected, select the initial equipment weapon for the character. There are a total of 11 types of weapons. After making a selection by pressing the directional button up or down, press the X button to execute. Weapon techniques will differ depending on which weapon is selected. It is possible to purchase different types of weapons throughout the journey and to switch equipment. And that goes to page 10, but we're not even on page 10 yet, so. Calm your roll manual. So we have the knife equipped in each hand, designed for close combat. Oh, so you're dual wielding. Sword, long one-handed weapon, possible to equip a shield. Axe, one-handed weapon used by swinging down, possible to equip a shield. Two-handed sword, two-handed weapon with a great destructive power. Two-handed axe, two-handed weapon used by swinging down. Hammer, two-handed weapon used to attack by pounding. Spear, two-handed weapon that is basic piercing weapon. Staff, two-handed weapon with a long reach. Glove, two-handed pounding weapon used in close combat. Flail, two-handed weapon capable of various attacks. Bow, two-handed weapon capable of long-range attacks. Okay, then we have our controls. When playing the game with 2 players, controllers must be inserted in both ports 1 and 2. The DualShock analog control stick may be used when the LED is lit. The vibration function can be used when the LED is turned off. The vibration function can be turned on or off by accessing the config section menu of the menu screen, page 14. If the L1, L2, R1 buttons are pressed at the same time as selecting start, a soft reset will be executed and the game will return to the Legend of Mana title screen. The DualShock controller. I'm using DualShock Controller 5 though. And there's your standard PS1 controller. Alright, so field screen, town, and map screen. Character control and information gathered in fields and towns. Directional buttons, direct character movement, left stick, character movement, start, display menu screen. X buttons to talk to inspect. Circle, enable characters who run when pressed at the same time as the directional button or left stick. Square buttons display menu screen. On the menu screen, cursor movements are D-pad or left stick. Starts to return to field. X is to execute. Circle is to cancel. See, that's how it normally is. Like, it was completely ass backwards in Vagrant Stories. That still bugged the shit out of me, because like even now, like when I'm playing, you know, or watching something on like with the PS4, because that's how we watch anime and whatnot downstairs, like I keep hitting the circle button when it's the X button. It's just fucking stupid. R1 button, skip to the next screen. L1, skip to the previous screen. One-hand operation with analog controller. When in battle, the left stick on the analog controller has the same function as the directional button. Also, pressing the left stick in has the same effect as pressing the X button. Pressing the L1 button while using the left stick will cause the character to run. Ring command screen. Ring commands are displayed when using the den at home, at the corral, or at the workshop. Directional buttons switch ring commands. They do with left stick. X is to execute, O is to cancel, and R1 and L1 are such ring commands. World map screen. On the world map, land creation and movement between lands is possible. Direction left button is to move. Select button displays help screen. X is to execute. Circle is to cancel. Square is to artifact selection. Triangle is display mana level. Battle screen. Movement buttons during battle can be edited in the menu screen. Directional button, character movement. Left stick, character movement. Start button, pause. X button's quick attack. Circle button's ability. Square is power attack, and the triangle is ability. So triangle and square. Okay, I see. So X is just your basic attack, and square is your heavy attack. R1, R1, R2, L1, L2 are a special technique or magic. Alright, we have our party menu member characters. Here's a brief introduction to some of the characters who will join you in your adventures. Niccolo, a merchant whose family has been in business for generations, has an affinity for money and his own unique set of values. Diana, a young soldier in training. She is currently looking for a way to save a friend in trouble. You have Pearl, a shy and gentle Jumi. She has a tendency to become lost when deep in thought. Alazul, with piercing blue eyes and a cape of sand. The Knight of Jumi makes a stunning impression. He's on a mission along with Pearl to find allies. But for what? Escad, a man with a strong sense of justice. He will do anything to defend what he believes is right. He fights for the cause of justice with an overbearing sense of righteousness. Lisa, an elf twin and the older sister of Bud. Lost both parents at a magical experiment gone awry. She keeps her father's room as a memento. Bud, Lisa's younger brother, a playful child and avid reader who idolizes magicians. He retains his mother's frying pan as a reminder of her. Sierra, a female dragoon in the service of the White Dragon. He has high expectations and hates to compromise. Lark? Yeah, I don't know why it's such a funny name to me. A young dragoon with intense feelings. His own impulsiveness leads him into great trouble. Alright, and then other characters. Here are some other characters living in the world of Fae Diel. I'm gonna have to look up how to say that. Some may provide you with helpful information. I guess some may. We have Little Cactus, Missy Yuka, Tipo, Inspector Boyd, looks like a grumpy cat, Reverend Novell, Mark, Rachel, Watts. He honestly looks more like the sprite from Secret of Mana, but Pelican, Professor Bomb, and then Duel. Alright, we have creating a new world. Select the character's name. The default name for your character at the beginning of a new game is you. To change the name, select the letter type from a list displayed on the left side of the screen. With the directional button, move the cursor to the left screen and press the X button to execute the command. A maximum of 10 letters can be entered. To delete letters, set the cursor to directional button, I guess, symbol, and press the X button or circle button. To select the default names, set the cursor to auto and press X button. Move the cursor to undo and press the X button to restore the default name. When selecting the name to be used, press the X button and at OK. Select the location from land creation on the world map. After the name has been selected, a large area map will be displayed. Press the X button to display a frame. Move the frame with the directional button, select the location for land creation to take place. The X button must be pressed twice for the command to be executed. Depending on the location of the frame, some sections may not be suitable for land creation. Be aware of these areas, see right. So if it's light up areas are okay. Light areas are okay. If the area within the frame is the same color as the surrounding areas, it is possible to incorporate this area into the world map. Dark areas won't work. Areas in which there's too much water or dark areas within the frame are not suitable. Alright, determine the position of your home. Once the location for land creation has been determined, the land creation process is next. Use the mailbox to determine where to position home. For details concerning land creation and operation, see page 8. Home may not be placed in the ocean. Why not? 4. The adventure begins at home. When home appears, the prologue will begin, explaining the background of the story. After the prologue, the gameplay begins at home. At home, the player can do things like save the game, care for pets, and create weapons. Load game, continuing the game from the saved game. When no game is selected, the screen will select the loading screen. After selecting the memory card slot by pressing the directional button left or right, select the save data by pressing the directional button up or down. The playtime, character's name, saved land name, and data order is displayed on the bottom portion of the screen. Press the X button to resume the game from the selected save data. Save and continue. To save, press the X button while standing near a save point. After selecting save, the screen will switch to the save screen. After selecting the memory card and save slot to save the data, press the X button. Even if the whole party is defeated, it is still possible to try again. Save points. In front of the bed of the second story of home, in front of the save point on the field map, and at Miss Yuna's Inn in the town Adomia. I don't know why I was using those. Alright, playing the game. Legend of Men allows the player to structure the world map freely through the land creation system. In order to advance the game, the player must clear various events and gain new locations on the world map, determine various locations, and build a unique world. Movement method, between lands and inside towns. The following 3 schemes are used for movement. From the location that the player has created on the world map, the player enters the field map and has the ability to move freely. The town map is displayed when the player enters a town. The player is able to move between the lands at all times, except during forced events. Save your map screens. On the world map, the player may move between created locations. Town map. When the character enters a location from the world map, the town map is displayed. The dots on the roads that extend through the town are different locations within the town. The directional button will move the character on this map. Field map. When the character moves onto a blue dot on the town map, he or she will enter that location. The screen will change to the field map, where town locations and such as shops and other buildings may be entered. Most of the game takes place on the field map or field from the character's interaction to enemy encounters. Home and dungeons have no town maps. Collecting information and events. Towns and dungeons exist on the field. In towns, there are many types of residents, and the player stands in front of them and presses the X button, they will begin a conversation. Events may occur depending on answers selected during the conversation. At other times, events may occur just by entering a particular location. While there are a number of important events that must be completed before reaching the ending, it is not necessary to finish every event. Introduction to Fedale's Species, Volume 1. Sproutlings, little creatures that seem to appear out of nowhere and not living in any town. They all share the same mind with each other. Alright, land creation system. The land creation system involves strategically placing artifacts on the world map, thereby reforming new lands and creating the world that the game takes place in. The story unfolds as new lands are created. Land creation process. Placing artifacts on the world map. 1. Obtain an artifact. The first step in the land creation process is to obtain mysterious items called artifacts. Artifacts may be obtained through talking to townsfolk, completing events, and other accomplishments. The absolute number is not certain. Obtain as many as possible. Open the items section of the menu screen to check artifacts you have acquired. Artifacts with ancient power. Artifacts are crafted works of art holding strange powers created by wise ancients long ago. They are repositories of the land's long forgotten memories and the many events that once took place there. The lost memories come to life when the power of the artifact is released. 2. Select a location to place the artifacts. To place an artifact on the world map, press the X button to move the cursor to the artifact selection wheel. If more than one artifact is possessed... I get you. If more than one artifact is possessed, select an artifact by pressing the directional button left or right and confirm the selection by pressing the X button. To cancel, press the circle button. After selecting the artifact and considering the mana level of the lands nearby, select where to position the artifact with the directional button. An artifact may only be placed in areas where the world map is highlighted. After selecting a space, press the X button to finalize the selection. Press the select button to call up a help screen that shows the basics of this operation. Place the artifacts and create new lands. After the location for the artifact has been determined, its sealed memories are released and a new land will appear. Once a new land has been created, it is not possible to seal it again, so it is important to evaluate the situation before placing an artifact. To move between lands, select the land to move to with the directional button and press the square button to execute the command. Continue the journey upon entering new lands. Once you have arrived at a different land, you can enter it by pressing the X button. The screen will change according to location. If the location is a town, the screen will change to the town map. If the location is a dungeon, the screen will change to a field map. The calendar in the upper right-hand corner of the screen advances one day for each space you move. Each day of the week is related to the power of magic and to certain events. Remember to check them when necessary. Alright, land creation system continued. In the world of Fayadel, the land creation system, world map, and mana levels, and spirits are all related. Read on to find out how. Point 1. Mana and spirits have 8 different elements. Mana is the source of all life and has 8 elements, each of which is ruled by a spirit. The world is filled with mana, but the concentration tends to differ between locations. Locations where the mana level is high for a certain element affects the same element in locations nearby. When entering a land, if the player is lucky, the spirit of the elements which are a part of that land may make an appearance. So spirits and their characteristics. Wisp, or the spirit of light, that lightens the world and governs sacred light. Shade, the spirit of darkness, that covers the land with complete darkness. Dryad, spirit of the trees, that governs the strength of trees. Aura, spirit of gold, the master of all elements produced. Salamander, spirit of fire, that is able to manipulate scorching fire. Gnome, spirit of the land that protects the land. Jinn, spirit of wind that controls the weather, and Udin, spirit of water that is the source of life. Keep the mana level in mind. The mana of the newly formed land gives neighboring lands the power of mana and has the ability to change the mana level according to the elements. 4 stages from 0 to 3. The mana level of the land highlighted by the cursor will be shown in the bottom left corner of the map. Use the directional button to which the elements of the mana being checked. The overall mana level may be checked by pressing the triangle button. Point 3. Replace the relationship between artifacts and land. The land that appears when the artifact is released has already been decided. Each artifact has 1 memory sealed within. Alright, Introduction to Fidel Species Volume 2, Fairies. Deeply love nature and dislike humans, but they are all interested in what humans are up to. Alright, moving on, we have using the menu screen. On the field map, select the menu screen by selecting the start or square button. Menu headings are displayed on the left-hand side. Each heading is displayed below. So we have status, items, config, event lists, and return. So here we have statuses. Status plus equip plus ability, technique, or magic. Here a character's status may be checked, equipment changed, and abilities confirmed. Switch between screens with the L1 and R1 button. Status, checking the status of the main character. It is possible to check the current condition of the main character. Set the cursor on the character's face icon and press the X button to the right directional button to move the cursor to the right hand side. 2 icons will be available, equip and skill, which are described below. So 1, you have your portrait, 2, your name, 3, your level, 4, hit points, damage a character can take, experience points is number 5, 6 is your parameters, 7 is synchronized effects during battle. Status windows for NPCs and pet monsters. When the main menu's party includes NPCs, pet monsters, or golems, a new menu bar will appear in the left-hand column under the main character's portrait. The status of other party members can be checked in the same manner as the main character. It is possible to change the names and pets of golems. Alright. Equipping weapons and armor. The character is able to equip different types of weapons and armor. After weapons and armor have been purchased or created, they must be equipped before they can be used. To open the equipment menu, move the cursor to the right and select the weapons or armor and press the X button. Please refer to the following section regarding other operations. So 1 is your weapon that's currently equipped, 2, your attack power of the equipped weapon, 3, armor currently equipped, and then 4 is the value of each defensive item. Alright, using the menu screen continued. Equipment window commands. Equip. The command allows the character to change the items they have equipped. To equip an item, select the item to be changed by pressing the directional button up or down. Change your options with square button and then press the X button. If this is the item the player intends to change, the player must set the cursor, change, and press the X button once again. Auto select. This command automatically equips an item stronger than the selected item. Total auto. This command automatically selects the strongest weapon and armor items in your inventory. Status. The command allows the status of the selected item to be checked. Remove. The command removes equipped items. Once a weapon has been unequipped, all associated special techniques that have been preset will be cancelled. Reset all special techniques for the newly equipped weapon. Skill adjusting button configurations. Each button can be customized with a different action for battle. Move the cursor to the right side, select the button to change with the directional button and the X button. Select the action to assign from the list that appears and press the X button to confirm. Please see below regarding other operations. Setting abilities. Abilities refer to actions taken during battle, such as jumping or spinning. Select the ability by pressing the directional button up or down and press the X button to execute the command. Up to 2 abilities may be set. Special settings, special techniques or magic. Special techniques and magic are set to R1, R2, L1, and L2 buttons. Select a button to set and press the X button. After selecting a special technique or magic from the menu that appears, a list of each that are available will be displayed. Make a selection by pressing the directional button up and down and confirm it by pressing the X button. The action buttons that can be distributed Distributed among ability, special attacks, and magic can be freely interchanged with the config option described on page 14. Introduction to Fidel's Spirits Volume 3, Pirate Penguins. Penguins that have the tenacity to tell silly jokes a little too often. Extremely proud of the fact that they are pirates, though they don't seem to act like pirates very often. And that's the cutest thing ever. Alright, menu screen continued. Menu screen icons. Status icons. These icons are used on the status screens of characters, weapons, armor, and instruments. Elements corresponding to each status have no effect on the mana level. So power affects the destructive power and heavy weapons that require strength. Skills affects the destructive power of weapons that require great dexterity. Defense affects the resistance to physical attacks from monsters. Magic affects the resistance to the magic attacks that monsters use. HP represents the basic physical power. Affects resistance to poison. Spirit affects resistance to monsters' status magic. Charm affects the affects the success rate of the character's own status magical power. Luck affects the appearance rate of treasure chests within the dungeon. Alright, elemental essence icons. These icons are used on the status screens of pet monsters, weapons, armor, and instruments. The elemental essences are added mostly to the instrumental magic, since magic directly revives the effects of each element. Receives the effect of each element. So light, a light elemental essence level that Wisp possesses. Darkness, a darkness elemental essence of which Shade is very much a part. Tree, a tree element essence level that is blessed by a Dryad. Gold, a gold elemental essence level of the power of Aura. Fire, a fire elemental essence of the power of the destructive power of Salamander. Earth, an earth elemental essence level of the power of the land governed by Gnome. Wind, a wind elemental essence level that can absorb the power of Jin. Water, a water elemental essence level that has the power of Udine. Defense icons. These icons are used as status effect of armor and the character equipment. Defense strikes. Defense power that counters hits from the monsters. Defense slash. Defense power that counters slash attacks from monsters. Pierce. Defense power that counters thrust attacks from monsters. And magic. Defense power that counters magic attacks from monsters. So items, we have items plus weapons plus armor plus instruments plus artifacts. Some item inventory items are components for weapons and instruments. They can be categorized under weapons, armor, instruments, and artifacts. If the player sets a cursor to the item icons and press the X button, each type of icon will be displayed. If the cursor is set to each icon and the X button is pressed twice, the cursor will move to the right. Item, checking items. The item of the character possesses can be checked here. The details of each item will be displayed if the cursor is set alongside the icons and the directional buttons. Pages can be skipped with the L1 R1 button. 4 icons become available: weapon, armor, and artifact, which are described below. The amount of money possessed by the party is displayed at the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Alright, using the menu screen. Menu relationship between weapons, armor, and instruments. Weapons, armor, and instruments all have the same structure level. The first level is the selection screen, and below that lies the status screen and detail screen. So if you press the square button, it displays data. Select the item in question from each screen, press the X button twice, and select status from the menu headings. And then L1, R1 goes between details and status. Weapons, checking the element and status of weapons. Move the cursor by pressing the directional button up and down. Select a weapon and press the X button to check a weapon. To organize the weapon list, first mark the weapon you want to move with the X button. Move the cursor to another weapon and press the X button again to switch entries. Pressing the square button displays data such as parameter bonuses, plunge attacks, elemental levels, and elemental essences. So let's see here. Status of each weapon. Change the name of a weapon. Oh, look at that. By selecting cursor the name of the weapon and pressing the X buttons, or the X button. Switch weapons with the L2 and R2. Details of each weapon. Check the bonuses, elemental level, and mystic powers of the weapons. Switch weapons with L2, R2. Armor. Checking the elements and status of armor. The operation is similar to weapon menu. Pressing the square button displays defense bonuses, elemental defense bonuses, and the status abnormality defense bonuses. At the top of the armor list, defense power relative to monster attacks such as strike and slash will be displayed. Roll 12 types of armor starting with shields and helmets, armor, batons, mail, and accessories. Status of each armor. Like weapons, the names of armor may also be changed. Elemental defense levels and status abnormalities will be displayed through icons. Details of each armor. Check the bonuses, elemental level, and mystic powers of the armor. Switch armor with L2 and R2 buttons. Alright, using the menu screen. Instruments. Checking the elemental essence of status of instruments. The operation is similar to weapon menu. Pressing the square button displays the elemental level of magic, the magic name on top followed by spirit and target area. Destructive power of the magic will also be displayed in the upper right hand corner of the list. There are 8 elements for the following 4 types of instruments. We have harp, flute, drum, and marimba. Status of each instrument. Page 12. The name of the instrument can be changed as with weapons. The destructive power of magic, the magic of the instrument. Spirits that protect the instruments and the magic route can be checked. Details of each instrument. The bonuses of the instrument, elemental level, and mystic powers can be checked. Switch instruments with the L2, R2 buttons. Artifacts. Reading the artifact list. Page 8, page 9. It is possible to obtain artifacts. The characteristics of an artifact will be displayed on the bottom of the screen when the cursor is set to the artifact by pressing the directional button up or down. A check mark will appear to the left of the name of the artifacts that have already been used to create lands. Skip pages by pressing L1 and R1. Event list displays events in the list format. Here, a list of events have occurred can be viewed. The event names that have a round yellow icon next to them have already been completed. When new artifacts cannot be obtained, check the event list and attempt to finish an event that has not yet been completed. Game environment. Setting the game environment. When changing the sound settings, select stereo mono by pressing the directional button left or right, and press the X button to execute the command. Select vibration function on and off by pressing the directional button left or right, and press the X button to execute. At the bottom right hand corner of the screen, the playtime is displayed. Config, adjusting the game settings and button positions for battle. The second lets the players customize sound and controller options and change button functionality and functions for battle. The button icon also becomes available and will be discussed below. Using the menu screen continued. Buttons, setting the action attack button positions. Change button functions in this menu by swapping the positions in the buttons. After moving the cursor to the right side, select a button to be switched by pressing the directional button up or down, and press the X button. Move the cursor to the button that will swap positions with the selected one, and press the X button to complete the process. If the X button is pressed at this time, it is possible to switch the buttons back to the default initial settings. Return, close the menu and return to the game. If the cursor is set to return icon and the X or circle button is pressed, the menu screen will close. Also, if the cursor is set to other icons and the circle button is pressed, the cursor will automatically move to return. Okay, we have our battle system now. Many different monsters roam the dungeons of Fadil. If a wandering monster is encountered while exploring a dungeon, battle ensues and will be initiated. 1. The character's face. 2. Synchro energy gem. 3. Hit points. And then 4 is your special technique meter. Things are used when this bar fills up. The flow of battle is explained as follows. 1. Battle begins when monsters appear. When monsters appear on the field, movement becomes restricted and the game enters battle mode. The main character and other party members will take up a battle stance. When this occurs, the game cannot progress until all the monsters have been defeated. Defeat monsters by continuously attacking. Attack types include normal attacks, special techniques, and magic. When the moves of the monster and maneuver to avoid, watch the movements of the monsters and maneuver to avoid damage from attacks. Gems and money, obtaining items. Upon defeating monsters, blue-colored gems, money, and other items appear on the field. After some time, the objects will disappear, so pick up these items as soon as they appear. 4. Battle ends with the display of the confirmation screen. With all monsters have been defeated, the money and number of gems collected will appear on the screen, notifying the player that the battle has been completed. If NPCs and pets are present, the gems that they have obtained will be added to their respective experience points. Types of attacks. Normal attack. Attack with equipped weapon. There are 2 types of normal attacks. One is a quick attack, in which swift attack movements are conducted one after another. X button is a default setting. The other attack is the power attack, which strikes the enemy with one powerful blow. Square button is the default setting. In either case, if the strikes hit the enemy, the special technique meter at the top of the screen will begin to fill. The function of the buttons can be changed with the config option of the menu screen, page 14. Attack with quick attacks. Although the single strike is not very powerful, quick attacks allow the player to strike continuously. The rate a weapon can strike again varies by the weapon type. Alright, number 7 is battle system. Attack with a power attack. This is a single but powerful attack. The only drawback is a slow recovery. Ability, various actions in battle. Abilities refer to jumping, defending, lunging, and all other actions that can be performed during battle. 2 of these actions can be assigned by the controller buttons. In the initial setting, there are 8 learned abilities. New abilities can be acquired by using the abilities or through the combined use of abilities that have been assigned to the buttons. Special techniques, attack methods with immense destructive power. As action abilities are used, special techniques can be learned in which one strike is filled with immense destructive power. The techniques learned will depend on the weapons equipped, and the number is vast. Special techniques can be set to each button using the menu screen, maximum of 4, and the button positions can be switched with the config menu. Special techniques may be performed during battle once the blue special technique meter reaches maximum. To check button assignments during battle, press the start button, pause the game. When each button is pressed, techniques and ability names will be displayed. We have action abilities and special techniques are assigned to buttons in the menu screen. When the special techniques meter at the top of the screen reaches maximum capacity, a special thing can be performed. As abilities are used more frequently, it is possible to learn more special techniques. Status abnormalities occur when struck by special attacks from monsters. Depending on the monster attacks, there will be instances when status abnormalities will occur during battle. They will recover naturally. Some abnormalities are introduced below, but there are other abnormalities that are not listed. Poison prevents natural recovery, hit points. Confusion, up and down commands right and left will be reversed. Sleep, characters cannot be controlled while asleep, though receiving damage will wake them up. Petrification, the character's body becomes stone, the character cannot be controlled for some time. And then KO, when a character's hit points are depleted, he or she will be rendered unconscious. Alright, magic, summoning the powers of the elemental spirits through instruments. First, an instrument must be purchased in town and assigned to a button on the menu screen. During battle, when this button is held, the target area becomes visible, and when the button is released, a spirit will appear and activate the magic. The magic may be used an infinite number of times during battle, and the destructive power of the magic will differ according to the character level, type of magical instrument, and power. Enchanted instruments may be created in the instrument workshop, page 23. So magical instruments can be purchased in the shops within town. The orbit of the effective range, depending on the type of magic instrument. By calling the spirits and absorbing their power, the player will be able to use their magic. Main instruments and their magic. Flow harp. This instrument holds the power of Udine. A half-circular target area appears and deals damage with bubbles. Flame flute. The instrument holds the power of salamander. A wave target area appears and engulfs the enemy in flames. Gus marimba. The instrument holds the power of Jinn. A random target area appears and summons tornadoes. Earth drum. This instrument holds the power of gnome. A target area spreads from within the attack and attacks with bedrock. Golden harp. This instrument holds the power of aura. A half-circular target area appears and damages with shrapnel. Shine flute. This instrument holds the power of wisp. A half-circular target area appears and attacks with light. Wood maraba. This instrument holds the power of dryad. A donut-like target area appears and attacks by shooting splinters. So Golden Harp just shoots gold shrapnel everywhere. Dark Drum, the instrument holds the power of shade. A target area spreads from within, engulfing the enemy in darkness. Play music for a spirit and earn elemental coins. An area where the mana level is high, there are times when the patron spirit will appear. Upon discovering a spirit, an instrument selection screen will appear, letting the player select instruments and play a song. If the spirit likes the tune, it will move closer. Move toward the spirit to receive an elemental coin. This is an important item in creating new magical instruments. Alright, battle alongside NPCs, pet monsters, and golems. Characters such as NPCs, pet monsters, and golems can join you in your adventure. As long as the 2-player control setting are set to auto mode default setting, player members will fight, use special techniques, and cast magic by themselves. When a party member's hit points are depleted, he or she will not be able to move for a certain amount of time. Pet monsters and golems cannot be in the same party together. Oh, so pet monsters and golems, okay. Character synchronization. During battle, there are times when electricity can be seen running between each character's special technique meter. This shows that they are undergoing synchronization. Synchronization creates helpful effects such as each NPC has different types of synchronization, so check the type available in the menu screen upon forming a party. The main ones we have are HP recovery, speeds up HP point recovery. The main character gives this power. Bonus lucre increases obtainable money after defeating enemies. Niccolo gives this power. Attack gauge PLS fills a special technique meter faster. Elezu gives this power. Spirit Plus increases spirit ability. Bud gives this power. Introduction to Fairy Species Volume 3. Bud Dub Bears? Diggers who work for Roger's mining business. Now they are forced to join his new religious activities with a dog as their lord. Okay. Battle strategies. 4 useful suggestions for battle are given here. Use these as a guide to learning new techniques. Point 1. Change weapons and attack in different ways. To become familiar with various attacks available, equip different types of weapons. In doing so, the player will learn different variations of special techniques and will be able to fight at short as well as long range. Change abilities frequently. Change abilities often to learn how more sophisticated techniques. Let's see here. Point 3. Learn plunge attacks. Plunge attacks are sophisticated techniques in which quick attacks or action abilities are used consecutively, allowing the character to deal an immense amount of damage. A blue after image shows when a plunge attack is performed. I thought it was just a jump attack or something. Point 4, retry with continue. When all members in your party are out of hit points, the continue screen will be shown to the left will appear. Press the X button to take on the challenge again. Alright, home. Home is the main character's base of operations. To the west of this home lies the workshop. In the east lies the monster corral, and to the south lies backyard orchid. Creation events take place in each location. There are 3 rooms in the workshops. A total of 5 types of creation events to experience. So you have equipment smithy as a golem lab. So 1, create a golem body from weapons and armor. 2, strengthen weapons and armor with fruit. 3, color the golem with fruit. Final Fantasy 14 does that with the chocobos. 4, capture baby pet monsters with fruit or use them as pet food. Oh, not wow. That sounds bad. Capture baby pet monsters with fruit or use fruit as pet food, not them as pet food. So you have the equipment smithy, golem laboratory, instrument workshop, backyard orchid, and monster corral. The study on the first floor. The room on the right side of the first floor of the house is a study. Stand in front of the bookshelf and press X to view the menu ring. Various books you receive during adventures can be read here. Alright, home. Monster corral. Raise pets to take along on the journey. Upon completing a specific event, the monster corral of the home will become available for use. When entering this corral, a menu ring appears, making it possible to raise pet monsters. Details below. Normally, pets are captured as eggs and are brought to the corral by pelican. A maximum of 5 pets can be raised at once. The pets will undergo several transformations and after completely maturing, will be able to join the party as a member. Monster Corral using the menu ring. Take a pet, select the pet with the directional button and press the X button twice to have the pet join the party. Leave pet, select this command to remove the pet from party. Feed, select the pet with the directional button and choose the food to give it to in the food box. Graze, select the pet with the directional button and execute. Up to 3 pets can be selected, so I guess I could just graze. Sell, after selecting the pet, talk with the owner of the item shop to reach an agreement. Encyclopedias will be displayed with the menu ring, page 21. Let's see here. Cancel and just cancel. Duel explains how to capture a monster egg, and then mature pets can be named and allowed to graze in the land. Backyard Orchid or Orchard. Once the event involving the enormous age tree, Trent, has been cleared, fruit can be grown in the orchard on the south side of home. To grow fruit, talk to Trent and select give seeds. Over time, the fruit will grow and ripen. To gather the right fruit stem from the shadow of the fruit and press the X button. The fruit may be used in various ways. Backyard Orchard. I'll keep saying orchid. Backyard Orchard using Trent's commands. Give seed. A seed ring command will appear. Select the seed to give to Trent. Talk to him. Chat with Trent. Cancel. End the conversation with Trent. So when seeds are given, the fruit receives blessings from mana and will ripen. Given time, a fruit will grow based on the type of seed. Alright, home continued. Equipment smithy. Create original weapons and armor. There are 3 rooms in the workshop located to the west side of the home. One of the rooms is the equipment smithy. Here, items are used as material to create new weapons, and extra or secondary material can be added to provide additional effects. Select the type and items by pressing the directional button up or down and pressing the X button. Test a variety of materials in order to create the ultimate weapon. Weapon and armor creation using the menu ring. Forge a weapon. Select the weapon menu. Select the weapon type and main component. Temporary weapon. Select the weapon to temper and secondary material with which to alter. Forge armor. Select armor and type the main component. Alter armor. Select an armor to alter the secondary material with which to alter. Encyclopedias will be displayed in the menu ring, and then cancels to cancel. Hopefully it's not going to be super expansive like in Vagrant Story, so upon entering the room, the ring icon will automatically appear. Equipment that has been forged or altered can be tested outside. Alright, we have the instrument workshop. Create powerful enchanted instruments. Pre-made enchanted instruments may be purchased in shops. Raw materials can also be collected and taken to the instrument workshop to create an original instrument. The creation method is basically the same as equipment, but for musical instruments, it is necessary to use elemental coins. Elemental coins are extremely precious, so they should be saved for and used for creating the ultimate musical instrument. Make an instrument, select the instrument type, materials, and elemental coin, encyclopedias, and then cancel. So elemental coins can be obtained by playing music for the spirits. After a musical instrument has been completed, the power of the spirit which has been added last will be displayed. Alright, we have the Golem Laboratory. Construct a golem and bring it to life. The golem creation event involves creating an individual original mechanism. The body is constructed with equipment. When creating the body, the size of the logic grid is determined by the number of pieces of equipment used. By combining logic blocks, an action pattern is created and color can be added with fruit. Once all this is done, the golem will be complete and can join the party as a member. So body creation using the menu ring, have create golems, select raw materials to create the golem's basic body, encyclopedias, and then cancel. Golem creation using the menu ring. Take golem, select the golem with the directional button and press the X button twice to have the golem join the party. Leave golem, select this command to remove the golem from the party. Logic. Combine, create the logic blocks to determine the battle pattern. Paint, add colors by selecting paint. Discard, dispose of the golem for the raw materials that make up the body. Encyclopedias and cancel. Logic setting. When selecting logic, the horizontal line in distance and the vertical line is the strength of the attack gauge. After selecting the block, it may be rotated by pressing this triangle button. In the lab, stand in front of the pedestal and press the X button to begin. Creating logic blocks using the menu ring. Make blocks, select a combination of any two weapons, armor, or musical instruments to form a block. Check the characteristics of blocks created or arrange them differently. Cyclopedias will be displayed with a menu ring, page 21. Select cancel to exit the Golem laboratory. The Cactus Diaries. Little cactus can be found on the left side of the second floor of your home. You will not talk unless certain events have been completed. After having a friendly chat with Little Cactus, try to find the Cactus Diaries and see what he wrote about your adventures. Alright, moving on to helpful hints. The following points of advice will assist in getting the most out of the game. Hint 1. Visit the shops in town. Purchasing weapons and armor at the shops in town will greatly increase the character's chances of doing well in battle. The variety of items sold changes according to the land's particular mana level. To purchase an item, stand in front of the shopkeeper and press the X button. After moving the cursor to buy item, press the X button again. Next, select the item to be purchased by pressing the directional button up or down, and change the number of items to be purchased by pressing the directional button left or right. Press the X button again, and a confirmation screen will appear. If there are no errors, set the cursor to yes, and press the X button. Press the circle button again to cancel. The steps are the same when selling unwanted items. Invite a friend's character to join you. In this game, it's possible to have another main character appear as a second player. To do this, visit the church in the town of Domina and talk to Nouvelle. After selecting about using player 2, under the About Battle heading, follow the message hints and go to the empty building to the center of Domina. No NPCs can be in the party. Press the X button when standing in front of the door and select the data you want to load from the memory card. The second main character will join your party in a different color than the existing main character. That's actually kind of cool. Note, main characters with the same data cannot be summoned. In order to save second player data, go separate ways. Stand in front of the shack door again and press the X button twice. Select the slot from which the second player data was loaded, and the second player data experience points and levels automatically saved. And the two main characters can separate from one another. Hint 3. Change the setting to allow two simultaneous players. In addition to saving at the inn's front desk and other save points, it is also possible to set the game to allow two players to play simultaneously. Stand in front of the save points and press the X button. Set the cursor to two-player control and press the X button. When the setting menu opens, select the mode by pressing the directional button up or down and press the X button again to execute the selection. So here, helpful hints. A mysterious ally will help you. At some point in the journey, a mysterious giant creature by the name of Boink may be encountered. Boink has special powers, and those who talk to the creature will be transported to another location. Use the shortcuts to your advantage. It will prove to be very useful in moving forward quickly. Hint 5. Many events can take place anywhere. In addition to the events that move the story forward, there are other events to experience, such as raising pets or creating weapons. There are also various mini-events in which it is possible to use a friend's saved data. Feel free to investigate all options. It is your world after all. Hint 6. Benefits after completing the game. Once a game has played to its end, play again to take advantage of special benefits. Save data can be continued, and abilities, special techniques, pets, golems, encyclopedias, etc. can be carried over to the new game. Play more than once to get the most out of the world of Fideo. Alright, and here we have our Brady Games strategy guide. Where is the mana tree? What happened to this once beautiful world? Solve these mysteries and more with Brady Games' Legend of Mana official strategy guide. Find and complete every side quest and explore the walkthrough and bestiary sections to carry out every mission and to rebuild Fidel. To purchase the Brady Games' Legend of Mana official strategy guide, visit your electronics book or software retail and order the book via the web at www.brandygames.com. You know, I wonder, are they still around? Negative. All right, and here we have our credits. And our limited warranty and game tips. And finally, the back of our manual. So here we just have Chrono Cross and Threads of Fate. So still need to check out Threads of Fate. But But yeah, so all right, guys. Well, that's our manual. I'll go over my history with this game because it's quite somewhat extensive, I suppose. And also go over the different versions of the game because we actually do have an updated, I guess, remastered version for the PC, and kind of what my plan is to go through this first playthrough. So, but all right, guys. Well, I will see you in the playthrough video. Until then, God bless, and see you over there. Bye bye.